Hi guys, so we're here today with the unmistakable Kermit, and he has been drawing, not surprisingly, a lot of attention, as the patchy horses always seem to do. So we just wanted to help you guys assess Kermit a little bit as well, because I think he is attracting a really wide range of riders, and he is still a little bit specific in his requirements of what he's looking for in his new rider as well. So Kermit is just returning to work after a 2-year break, and before that, he, not related to soundness or anything like that, it was just he went to a home where they didn't actually end up having time for him, so he ended up just having a couple of trail rides in those 2 years and mostly just spelling. But before that, he'd done a bit of everything. He'd done some cross country, dressage, show jumping, the works. But we have found he's returned to work quite well here with the flat works coming along. He's really loosening up and starting to work properly and use himself, which has been good. However, he is a little bit spooky, and that is the thing that he's attracting a lot of really younger teenagers, and if they were perhaps coming off a really spooky pony or something, that wasn't going to freak them out. Like, he's not dirty, so that could potentially suit, but if you're sort of looking for that first big horse and a little bit unsure or nervous, he's not going to be the right match, unfortunately. So if you're a really gung-ho kind of kid that wants to just get out and go, and a little bit of a spook or lookiness isn't going to worry you, Kermit might be worth a sit. But now, in terms of you guys, when we've sort of mentioned this, have asked, you know, how spooky or what does he do or anything like that, so I'll try my best to describe that. So firstly, he tends to just look at things a little bit when you're riding around. So, you know, on this arena, for example, if I was riding around the track, and I'll show you guys when we get going, but he might have a look at the planter boxes we have, you know, over there at P and stuff like that, and he just sort of might look, and it's my job then to make a bit of flexion back towards the center of the arena, put my inside leg on and push him to the outside rein. So I make those little corrections that keep him physically and mentally engaged, okay, which keeps us focused, and that makes the spooking like a lot more minimal. And Ben has found as well, although he's quite a good jumper, and once he's confident in going, he jumps really well, and he's quite brave then, but he does start, you know, it's something new, like a new fill or anything like that, he can give it a bit suspicious and back off a little bit, have a bit of a spook like that. So for jumping, he's going to need a confident rider, at least getting going. And I think because he's been out of practice of jumping for maybe, you know, a couple of years, he's a little rusty with that, because he seems to be getting more confident with it. But it definitely does need a rider that can ride forward to the fence and give him that confidence he's lacking a little bit when he's unsure, with lots of leg and not backing off themselves. So I think that's pretty well Kermit summed up. So anything you'd like to add, Ben?
No, that's pretty much it. I would say he's actually fairly straightforward to jump. Like, he can have a little look, but he's still definitely bold enough to go.
Yeah, and with I think his photos came out really good, which is great, but I think people are thinking he's a bit more of a schoolmaster type.
Yeah, he's a little
he has the potential to be one.
Yeah, he's a little suspicious by nature.
Yeah.
So he just needs a rider that will give him the confidence to just get on.
Cautious.
Once you tell him to get on with the job, he's pretty good.
Yeah. And he does want to be quiet. He will be quiet. He just needs those miles and a bit more exposure. So he's not quite the schoolmaster type, although in the right hands, I don't doubt in 12 months' time he would be.
Yeah, I think because of his type, like Amber said, he's sort of attracting a lot of people, a lot of, you know, younger kids coming off a pony, or older riders wanting something, you know, super quiet and straightforward. And whilst he is straightforward, he probably needs a rider that's a bit more experienced and confident to continue him at the moment. So.
All right, let's do some work.
Okay. So I was saying to Amber, I'm actually hoping that he might show us one of these little spooks. So you can sort of see it's not a spook and a bark or a spook and a take off or anything like that. Sometimes you can just have a little shy to the side. It's nothing major, but, you know, could rattle, you know, some people. because he's developing his strength as well, he can sometimes still want to get a little bit low, a little bit heavy at times. I'm sure as he keeps, you know, coming back into work, he'll get stronger and fitter and start to carry himself a bit more. He's nice and steady in the contact, but yeah, does still want to get a little bit low at times. You probably see Amber will start to make, you know, some half halts and try to get that pole up, so he starts to carry himself a bit more. You know, we're certainly always happy for them to stretch down and use their back and their bum, that you want to make sure that they're not pulling and that they're carrying themselves.
Maybe mention the flies.
Okay, Amber was just saying to mention the flies. I forgot to put any fly spray on Kermit, and there are quite a few flies today, so that's why he's doing those little head tosses at the start. Go. See there, he sort of just came up a little bit when Amber came past me, and she had to make a half halt, you know, with both reins, and then push him over a little bit more into that outside rein, which you can see her doing over there as well, just to keep him bending through his ribs, so he doesn't get sort of straight and tight and hollow. See, she's got a gentle sort of open inside rein, and she's kicking him over off that inside leg, trying to get that bend through the ribs. He was a little bit lazy at the start. He's definitely getting better. She's riding him with a whip and spurs. I don't sort of find I need quite that much, but I'm usually a bit more, I kind of prefer to kick sometimes. There we go. See there, she's still pushing him over off that inside leg. Changing rein, getting the new flexion. Probably pop him up to canter in a minute. Always checking that he's not getting too low, that he's carrying himself. Little bumps with that inside leg to say keep bending. There we go. See there, he's probably a little bit lazy in that canter transition, so as he gets fitter and stronger, you know, hopefully that'll get a little bit sharper. And I think Kermit's not going to show us any of this spooky nature today. You must know that I'm videoing. He's got a pretty like comfy canter as well, nice easy rhythm. Again, she'll be working to make sure he doesn't get too long, doesn't get too low and heavy. Always working on that flexion, so getting him to bend around the inside leg, bend through the ribs. Gentle change rein, push him over off a new inside leg. See, I'm making a few little corrections there. And probably, yeah, a little bit dull in that canter transition as well, which is, you know, why he came up a little bit. Probably have a little bit more flexion, a little bit more bend this way. It looks like he's probably not quite as good off this inside leg. There you can see her sort of kicking him over, getting that flexion. That was a bit better around that turn. She's got him a bit more over off that inside leg now. Good, that was pretty cute downward transition as well. And then, yeah, I like there how he came back and he didn't get too long and heavy. Sort of shows us he's starting to carry himself a little bit more. Yeah, you see that's a tiny bit of what he can do. Because Amber was so onto it, it didn't turn into anything. But you can see it just kind of went to shy away from that barrel a little bit. And so she was like, no, I've got you with the outside rein. I'm going to keep you straight and keep you bending. And then it doesn't turn into anything. But yeah, he needs a rider that, can feel when he's going to do that and then balance him and not sort of let him get away with it. So he didn't give us much of a display today. Not that he's certainly not dirty, like Amber said.
That's what he's like every time I ride him, I don't know.
Yeah, I was just saying though that you caught him, and he's actually a bit better for Amber than me. I think she's probably a little bit better in the connection with him than I am, which is weird because I'm actually quite used to riding spooky horses. But Amber finds him pretty straightforward. I find him a little bit spooky. But yeah, so it just depends on the person, I guess. So if you think you're looking for a cute, patchy sort of pony, that's pretty straightforward in 95% of the ways, but can be a little bit looky at times, then it might be worth, trying him. Okay.